we live in a culture where alcohol is very prevalent. It's part of our culture. I think you need to work around it, but really understand alcohol is incredibly detrimental to your performance and sleep. If you don't measure it, you can't move it. And yeah, if you are okay with looking at your data and you do have that sort of mental discipline, and then you feel like you've got agency over your life, I think it's a really good idea to measure it. And like, you don't have to wear with all the time. I think that once you realize that, what are the things that really ruin your sleep? What are the foods? What are the activities or the modalities? Alcohol. Like you can get this sort of boundary limitations framework. You go, okay, I'm okay if I have 2 glasses of wine fairly early in the night and I don't eat meat at night, I have my protein at time, or if I do this massage or I meditate, and you can kind of work out your formula like in a very scientific manner and do little mini experiments on yourself. Once you work that out, you don't need to have it on all the time, I think.
And you really do, like as a sample of one, I think it probably has been the biggest thing that has had me cut back booze, right? Not all booze, but just that you sleep so badly. And it's not even drinking a lot. You might drink like 3 or 4 glasses of wine or whatever on a night, and it just screws your sleep. And 1 or 2, and it's maybe you're okay. And obviously none's better than some, but it's I think just having the numbers, it's not just this kind of subjective feeling anymore. It's like, no, actually, if I'm drinking on a weeknight, it will mean I wake up feeling pretty bad. Well, the numbers will say that I'm pretty bad. It's kind of,
yeah, and often like you can see you have your heart rate variability changes for up to 3 days. Yeah, I mean, I'm very sad about it because I do love red wine. So I've been trialing out, Merkel, which is that prebiotic from that sort of metabolizes the alcohol before you get absorbed. That actually does work. There's another one I think has come out in Australia. I can't remember the name of it, but they've really been pumping it on social media. So I think, I mean, we live in a culture where alcohol is very prevalent. It's part of our culture. I think you need to work around it, but really understand alcohol is incredibly detrimental to your performance and sleep.
100%. What advice would you give on, I think like most of us, like, don't sit there on your big glaring screen before you're trying to get to sleep. Like what other, I think measuring it is awesome, trying to cut back on booze where possible. Other bits of advice around how to get better sleep going?
Yeah, so I mean, you've got to give yourself a framework as to why you want to do it. Like you have to have, experiment and gone, wow, I got into bed at 9:30, and like sort of take note of how well you performed the next day. So you give yourself like that psychological reward there. I know this is important to me. So you just have to, if you're not disciplined yourself, you've got to look at what is keeping you up at night. And often it's like your phone or Netflix or, just, sitting on a couch and just going, off into another dimension watching, a movie. And so when I was doing my PhD, it was so stressful that was the only time I really sort of got into watching Netflix. And I'd be like, it'd be 1 o'clock in the morning. I'd be like, oh, it's like a junkie. One more episode before you knew. I'm like, oh my God, I've had to get up and lecture at 8 in the morning. And so I created this way to create discipline in my life when I didn't have it. And so I got one of those plugs from IKEA that has the timer in it. And so I plugged in my modem into that timer and I set the timer to go off automatically at 9:30. So, these streamers, they know exactly how to hit your dopamine system. So the last part of what you see in a show will be a cliffhanger, and it'll just roll straight onto the next episode. So you kind of like, unless you're super disciplined, before you know it, you're into the next episode. So I knew that. So I'd be sitting on the couch and all of a sudden the power would go off my modem. And so my show would stop and I'd be like, oh, damn it. But what I did was I put the modem right up in a cupboard, right far away, behind all these cords. And in order for me to get up to that cupboard, I used to have to drag a little step ladder, and actually kept the step ladder in another room. So for me to get up and turn the Netflix back on, there was these multiple steps. And by the time I got drag, this thing sort of stood up and tried to turn the motor back on, my adult brain would kick in and say, stop it, go to sleep. Okay,
You're ridiculous.
so I would really recommend putting these steps in if you can't be disciplined, and just until you train yourself, and keep things out of mind, out of sight. My phone turns to a dark black and white grey at a certain time so that it doesn't look so interesting.
Yeah.
Keep my phone somewhere else. I dropped the lights in my house of an evening, so I've got only warm lights, nothing overhead, because if you get overhead light hitting the bottom of your retinal cells, after 10 o'clock, it does send a message to your habenula, then to your pancreas, and the next day you'll be more hungry for salty, sugary, fatty foods, and you'll be slightly pro-aggressive, because basically your primitive brain's thinking, okay, what are you doing out of the cave, late at night? There's only two reasons that humans really would stay up at night, out of the cave, and that'd be hunt or be hunted, and those require stress hormones. So if you're getting light from above, your brain will start to produce stress hormones, which completely ruin your sleep. So trying to minimize all of the excitatory information coming into your eyeballs, light, sounds, noise, in the lead up to bed. We know that if you are a little insomniatic, a 40-degree centigrade hot bath 1 to 2 hours before bed counterintuitively will help you drop your core body temperature by 2 degrees. So in order for you to get into deep, slow wave sleep, your core body temperature needs to get down by 2 degrees. And so if you counterintuitively heat up your body, you'll drop quicker. So it's sort of vasodilating, and it does make you sleepy. So yeah, that's
really interesting.
Yeah, meta-analysis. So there's all those things that you should avoid. Sugar before bed. Whoop data says that if you eat sugary foods in the before bed, you're going to sleep on average 26 minutes less, because it's kind of like putting fuel in the furnace. You are like increasing your metabolic churn, your resting heart rate goes up, and your gut biome gets activated. So don't eat sugar before bed. Don't have that ice cream. Don't have those chocolate or whatever. Have nuts which has tryptophan in it, which is a precursor to melatonin, which is the sleep hormone. So, I mean, there's heaps of things you can do. Don't play games. Don't play any fighting games, computer games. Yeah, watch what you're putting into your eyeballs. Is it excitatory? Does it make you angry? Does it make you, sad? Yeah, be careful. Read a book.
It's awesome stuff. I mean, if you hadn't already said it, I was going to say you need to write a book on this topic.
Yeah.